Hello again. Gary Stearman. Time for another Prophecy in the News daily update. Today is Thursday, the 16th of February. Hope you're having a great time. And I've got a surprise for you today. Avi Lipkin is with us in studio from Jerusalem. I should say from Israel. He lives a little bit east of Jerusalem, right?
Yes, about halfway to the Dead Sea.
About halfway to the Dead Sea.
In the middle of the Judean desert, somewhere along where David was running around fleeing from Saul.
And he's always very interesting to talk to. He has brought us a new book. We've talked about his 5 previous books for a long time here at Prophecy in the News, but he is publishing a new one called Return to Mecca. And Avi, this book, quite frankly, when I first started to try to absorb it, it puzzled me because who's returning to Mecca?
Israel is returning to Mecca.
And I thought, wait a minute, why would Israel return to Mecca? And listen to this, because you're going to be interested. I'm just going to turn him loose. Why would Israel return to Mecca?
Because God says so. God says in Deuteronomy 11, he says, your borders will go from the Great Sea, the Mediterranean, to the Euphrates River, that's east-west, and from Lebanon in the north, south, to the desert. What's the desert? The desert is not the Negev, which was the tribe of Judah. It is not the Sinai Peninsula in Egypt, because that was always pharaonic. The great and horrible desert, as it is described in the Bible, is the Arabian desert. And what this book shows is that the children of Israel spent 38 or almost close to 40 years in the Arabian desert in their wanderings before they turned north. Deuteronomy 2 verse 2 says, enough being encompassed around this mountain, Mount Sinai, head north to the land of the Amorites. And so that's going to be our new border.
And that would have included the areas that now known as Mecca and Medina.
Correct.
And so they actually set foot on this soil.
Wherever your feet will tread will be yours.
And yeah, I was going to have you talk about that, because that's a promise that God made to Israel, wherever your foot shall touch the ground. And by the way, I think people are beginning to learn, finally, and it's been a slow process, they're beginning to learn that Mount Sinai is not in the Sinai Peninsula. It's in what used to be called the land of Midian, over on the eastern shore of the Red Sea, not far, I guess, from the Gulf of Eilat, and then moving on inland to contemporary Mecca and Medina. The feet of the Israelites during 40 years of wandering covered that whole territory. And you're saying that the Islamic leaders are familiar with the promises God made to Israel, and they would like to forestall all of those promises.
Or to completely avoid them by killing all the Jews and Christians who pose that threat to them.
An amazing, amazing concept. If you'd like to read about it, it's in this book, Return to Mecca, Avi's latest book, $19.95 plus shipping and handling. You've got the number on your screen right now. Just call that number and ask for Return to Mecca. What would you like for people to know? In fact, specifically, what would you like for our American audience to know about the goals of modern Islam? Now, we think about Osama bin Laden. He's long gone. His second in command has risen. The Islamic Brotherhood is rising in what's called the quote-unquote Arab Spring by our news media. Take it from there.
Well, Jews, Christians, and Muslims all agree that the Day of Judgment is rapidly approaching.
Mm-hmm.
Jews and Christians are waiting for the Messiah, who's a Jew from Israel who speaks Hebrew. And according to the Muslim thought, the Day of Judgment will not come before there's a final battle in which the Muslims annihilate every last Jew on the face of the earth. And there will be some Jews who temporarily avoid their Muslim pursuers. They will hide behind rocks and trees. And on that Day of Judgment, Allah will give mouths to the rocks and trees. And they will call out, "Oh, Muslim pursuers, there was a Jew hiding behind me, come and kill him." So the bottom line of Islam is that every Jew dies. Not only Israel, Jews in America, Canada, Latin America, Europe, Africa, Asia. Wherever there are Jews, they've got to die. Now, Christians are Jews, so the Christians have to die too. I mean, in the eyes of Islam, Christians are Jews. So according to Islam in the Hadith, Jesus Christ comes back a second time as a Muslim warrior, dressed in black, in a black ninja outfit, on a black horse. He'll be carrying a lance. He's going to run the lance through the Antichrist, who, by the way, is a Jew, according to Islam. So Jesus is a Muslim. The Antichrist is a Jew, if you're following the Islamic teachings. And after he kills the Antichrist, he goes up to the Temple Mount, prays with 400,000 Muslims, comes down, breaks the crosses, destroys the churches of the Christians, destroys the synagogues of the Jews. And on that day of judgment, all the Jews and Christians, who are one people, people of the book, all the Jews and Christians who have not converted to Islam will have their throats personally slit by Jesus Christ the Muslim.
Wow.
So, no, ask any Muslim. I'm not making it up. That's really what they believe.
And what they're trying to do is, by killing Jews and Christians, to forever remove any claim that they might make.
Yes.
They're removing the opposition, if you will, to the claim of spiritual tenure, either on the land or in the world at large. So, hey, the most effective way to remove a pretender to the throne, as they see it, is just to remove the pretender by killing him. This is one of the most ancient stories in all of history. You know, you have one royal family killing off another family to try to keep that family out of power, and that comes down to us now, today, in the current contention that's going on between Islam and the West, which, as you say, is Judeo-Christian. We Christians have been grafted in as the wild olive is grafted into the olive root, which is Israel. And so here we are. And they know that, right?
Right. And again, it has to be emphasized. Jews and Christians have to wake up and understand that our God is the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It says so in the New Testament 7 times. It does not say Esau. It does not say Ishmael. It says Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And the hatred, the animosity against that lineage is the hatred and animosity of the children of Ishmael, the children of Hagar, children of Midian, meaning children of Keturah, children of Esau. So all of these people who are our flesh and blood, and like you said, 2 royal families fighting each other. And, you know, again, I know the time is short. I'm going to try to say this. They want to kill the Jews on Saturday, Christians on Sunday, Hindus, Buddhists, and blacks any day. And then the Muslims kill each other in the name of their God with a small g, Allah, who I say is Satan, who wants to kill every human being because we're in the image of God. And our God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, does not wish the death of any of his children, of any human beings. And the battle about Mecca and Medina and Jerusalem is, if they get Jerusalem, we all die, including them. If we get Mecca and Medina, we all win. The Muslims also win with us because they will be freed of their chains of slavery and the chains of Allah. Just like the Nazis, when Nazism was destroyed, the Germans were blessed in 1945, and the Japanese were blessed when Tojo fascism was banned. The Muslims are good people, but you got to ban that crazy system.
Very interesting. Of course, we here, as U.S. Christians, watch events in the Middle East. We watch the Temple Mount. And, you know, you talk about the kids' game, Capture the Flag. Well, we also have another game called King on the Mountain, you know. And we'll see who can push somebody off of a pile of ground and stand there as solidly as possible for as long as possible. We've got that game going on right now in Jerusalem. The Holy Mountain, the Mountain of God, Mount Moriah, they're playing King on the Mountain in that place. And I see it almost in the terms of a child's game.
Indeed, this is the final Elijah moment. Who's going to win? Will it be those who believe in the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, or will it be those who believe in Allah, Satan?
Avi Lipkin, it's always great to have him here. His new book, Return to Mecca, will open a lot of doors in your thinking. Things that have maybe eluded you until now will kind of pop into focus. This book for $19.95 is a real buy, and you have the 800 number on your screen right now. Avi, come back and visit us again.
Always happy to.
Gary Stearman, have a great day in the Lord and keep looking up.